Hello, people. Okay. My battery's up. What do you think? I got new shoes today. So I got these. I got these shoes, and then I got these ones. I was like the dress shoes I have right now. I bought those, dude. I felt like shit. Look, okay. I was wearing Jordan ones when I bought them today. I think, was I wearing these? I don't know. And I bought them in the clearance section. I just walked in and I was like, why not? You know. We still have 2 minutes till story time. Our first book is If I Ran the Zoo by Dr. Seuss. And if you give a cat a cupcake, and I bet you no one can guess our last book. Everyone has to guess the last book because it's so difficult, and no one will ever be able to guess it. Read the book out loud. Are you kidding me? The whole night, I'm only reading the book in my head. Yeah, no. Why would I? Who said that? We have 30 seconds. Jojo is fine. She's doing great. Anyways, my Calls Cash fam, remember to share the live. Before we start, everyone share the live. Always great, but we have If I Ran the Zoo by Dr. Seuss. It's a pretty good zoo, said young Joe McGrew, and the fellow who runs it seems proud of it too. But if I were in the zoo, said young Gerald McGrew, I'd make a few changes. That's just what I do. The lions and tigers, that kind of stuff they have up in here are just not quite good enough. You see, things like these are just in just any old zoo. They're awfully old-fashioned. I want something new. So I'd open each cage, I'd unlock every pen, let the animals go, and start over again. and somehow or another, I think I could find some beast of a much more unusual kind. I showed that last picture, right? I did, yes. A 4-footed lion's not much of a beast. The one in my zoo will have 10, at least. 5 legs on the left, and 5 more on the right. Then people will stare, and they'll say, what a sight. The new keeper, Gerald's quite keen. That is the gall darnest lion that I have ever seen. My new zoo, McGrew Zoo, will make people talk. My new zoo, McGrew Zoo, will make people gawk at the strangest odd creatures that ever did walk. I get, for my zoo, a sort of a hen who roosts in another's top knot, and then another who roosts in the top knot of his, and another in his, and another in his, and so forth and upward and onward, gee whiz. But that's just a start. I'll do better than that. They'll see me the next day in my zookeeper's hat, coming into my zoo with an elephant cat. They'll be so surprised that they'll all swallow their gum. They'll ask when they see my new strange animals come, where do you suppose he gets things like that? His animals have such very odd faces. I'll bet he must hunt them in rather odd places. And that's what I'll do, said young Gerald McGrew. If you want to catch beasts you don't see every day, you'll have to go places quite out of the way. You'll have to go places no others can get to. You'll have to get cold and you'll have to get wet too. I'll pass the North Pole where the frozen winds squeal. I'll go and I'll hunt in my squiggle-mobile. I'll bring back a family of what do you know, and that's how my new zoo, McGrew Zoo, will grow. A hunt in the mountains of Zumba Matant, with helpers who all wear their eyes as a slant, and capture a fine fluffy bird called the bustard, who only eats custard with sauce made of mustard, and also a very fine beast called the flustered, who only eats mustard with sauce made of custard. I'll catch 'em in caves, and I'll catch 'em in brooks. I'll catch 'em in crannies, and I'll catch 'em in nooks that you don't read about in your geography books. I'll catch 'em in countries that no one can spell, like countries of Moda, Fapoda, Fapel. And a country like that, if a hunter is clever, he'll hunt out some beast that you never saw ever. I'll light up 5 boots with a family of judges, whose feet are like cows, but wear squirrel skin coats, and sit up like dogs and have voices like ghosts, excepting they can't sing in very high notes. And then I'll go down to the wilds of Nantucket and capture a family of lunks in a bucket. Then people will say, no, I like that boy heaps. His new zoo, McGrew Zoo, is growing by leaps. He captures them wild and he captures them meek. He captures them slim and he captures them sleek. What do you suppose he will capture next week? I'll capture one tiny and I'll capture one cute. I'll capture a deer that no hunter would shoot. A deer that's so nice he could sleep in your bed if it weren't for those horns that he had on his head. Did I show the last one? I did. And speaking of horns that are just a bit queer, I'll bring back a very odd family of deer. A father, a mother, 2 sisters, or brothers, whose horns are all connected from one to the other, whose horns are so mixed you can't tell them apart, whose horns where they end, can't tell where they end and can't tell where they start. Each year's mighty puzzles he's never yet found, if his horns are hers or the other way round. I'll capture them fat, and I'll capture them scrawny. I'll capture a scraggled foot, mallow quick Donny, a high-stepping animal as fast as the wind, from the blistering sands of the deserts of Sind. This beast is the beast that's the brave chieftain ride, where they want to go fast and find some place to hide. A mulligany is a fine for my zoo, and so is a chief stand. I'll bring back one too. In the far western part of southeast North Dakota is a very fine animal called the iota. But I'll capture one who is even much finer, of the northeastern west part of South Carolina. And when people see him, they will say, "Now by thunder, this new zoo, McGrew Zoo, is really a wonder." Most beasts are quite friendly, but still in some lands, some beasts are too dangerous to catch with bare hands. For those that are ugly and vicious and mean, I'll build a bad animal catching machine. It's rather expensive to build such a kit, but with it, 100 can never get bit. A zoo should have bugs, so I'll capture a throw, whose legs are snarled up in a terrible snarl. Then I'll go out and I'll capture some chugs, some keen shooter, mean shooter, bean shooter bugs. I'll go to Africa, the African Isle of Zerga, and I'll bring back a tizzle-topped, tuffled mazurka, a kind of canary with quite a tall throat. His neck is so long if he swallows an oat for breakfast the first day of April, they say it has to go down such a very long way that it gets to his stomach the 15th of May. I'll bag a big bug who is very surprising, a fellow who has a propeller for rising, and zooming around making cross-country hops from Texas to Boston with only 2 stops. Now that sort of thing for a bug is just tops. And when I've caught him, the next thing you know, I'll go and I'll capture a wild tic-tac-toe. With X's that win and zeros that lose, he'll look mighty good in this zoo of McGrews. Okay, anyways, I'll bring back a gusset, a gherkin, a gasket, and also a goot from the wilds of Nantasket. And 8 Persian princes will carry the basket, but what their names are, I don't know, so I don't ask it. In a cave, the cartoon lives a beast called the Natch that no other hunter's been able to catch. It's hidden for years in a cave with a pout that no one's been able to make him come out. But I'll coax him with a wonderful meal that's cooked by my cooks in the cookermobile. They'll fix up a dish that is just to his taste, 3 chicken croquets made of flatberry paste, then sprinkled with peanuts, shucks, pickled and spiced, and baked at 600 degrees and iced. It's a mighty hard cooking such feast but that's how my new zoo, McGrew Zoo, gets peace. I'll go to the faraway mountains of Topsk, but near the river of Nopsk, I'll bring back an Opsk, a sort of thingamabobs who only eats narb and corn on the copsk. Then people will flock to my zoo in a mopsk. McGrew, they will say, does a wonderful job. He hunts with such vim and he hunts with such vigor. His new zoo, McGrew Zoo, is getting bigger and bigger. And speaking of birds, there's a Russian Paluski, whose headski is redski and bellow is blueski. I'll get one of them for my zooski, Magruski. I gotta do the thing. Doesn't it? Okay. Then a whole town will gasp. Why this boy never sleeps. No keeper has ever kept what he keeps. There's no telling what this young fellow will do. But then just show them I'll still look a true and bring back an Itzkurtz, a preep, a prue, a nurgle, a nerd, and a seersucker too. A hunt in the jungles of Himbo no Hungus and bring back a flop of white bimbo no bungus. A bimbo no bungus from Himbo no Hungus are better than those down in Dimbo no Dungus, and smarter than those out in Nimbo no Nungus, and that's why I'll catch them in Himbo no Hungus, instead of those in Nungus or Dungus, and those people will say when they keep those bips bounding, this zookeeper, new keeper, is simply astounding. He travels so far that you think he would drop. When do you suppose this young fellow will stop? Kinda looks like my girlfriend. That's Anna, right there. It's Anna. Stop? Well, I should. But I won't stop until I've captured a Fizzle Mawizzle-dill, the world's biggest bird from the island of Guac, who only eats pine trees and spits out the bark. Oh boy, when I get him back home to my park. The whole world would say, young McGroom has made his mark. He's built up a zoo, and the whole Noah's Ark. These people, marvelous beast that he chooses, have made him the greatest of all the McGroozes. Did he just say that looked like Harold? Hey, yeah, I did. Wow, they'll out here. What the zoo must be worth. This is the whole gold darn zoo on the whole face of the earth. Yes, that's what I'll do, said young Gerald McGrew. I'd make a few changes if I ran the zoo. Okay. Our next book is If You Give a Cat a Cupcake. I need some water. That book was long. Alex is here. Alex is vibing. Everyone remember, if you donate to me, you're donating to the new computer fund because my computer is cooked. This baby is fried. She lasts for 15 minutes on a full battery of charge. Please hit my Venmo if you're going to donate. That would be fantastic. I would love that for you guys. That would be sick. So, please donate to me. It's baked. It's done for. Anyways, If You Give a Cat a Cupcake by Laura Numeroff. Let's get into it. If you give a cat a cupcake. He'll ask for some sprinkles to go with it. When you give him the sprinkles, he might spill some on the floor. Cleaning up will make him hot, so give him a bathing suit and take him to the beach. You want to go in the water, and build sandcastles too. Then he'll look for seashells. He'll find a few other things as well. He'll put them in his pail and try to pick it up, but it'll be too heavy. He'll decide he'll need to work out at the gym. First, he'll warm up on the treadmill. Then he'll lift a weight or two. He might even try a karate class. After the gym, he'll want to go to the park. And when you get there, he'll see the rocks. He'll climb as high as he can go. At the top, he'll see the lake. He'll want you to take him rowing. He'll be the captain, and you'll have to row. Then he'll notice the merry-go-round and want to go for a ride. Did I show that right? Yes. He'll want to go for a ride too. You'll choose the horse with the purple mane, and he'll get on the whale. When the whale will remind him of the science museum, he'll ask you to take him there. Wait, first he'll find dinosaurs. Next, you'll see the Hall of Apes. And when the museum closes, you'll be the last to leave. On the way home, you'll pass by the beach and help him gather all of his things. Then, he'll want to race you. When you get home, he'll empty the sand from his shoes. He might spill some on the floor. Seeing the sand on the floor remind him of the sprinkles. He'll probably ask you for some. And chances are, if you give him some sprinkles, he'll want a cupcake to go with him. Okay. Our last and final book is, as you know, a classic, one of the best written books of all time. Let's get into it. Wait, before we do that, my Cook laptop. Let me boot this up here. Is it gonna load? We're gonna find out if it loads. Let's see how long it takes to load. Why is it loading a video? Okay. The Trying Times YouTube channel. Go subscribe to it. Me and Alex are on there. It's super lit. Subscribe to us there. And of course, share the live before we get into our last and final book, Goodnight Moon by Miss Margaret Wise Brown. In the great green room, there was a telephone, a red balloon, and a picture of cow jumping over the moon. And there are 3 little bears sitting in chairs. And 2 little kittens and a pair of mittens and a little toy house and a young mouse. And a comb and a brush and a bowl full of mush. And a quiet old lady who was whispering hush. Goodnight room. Goodnight moon. Goodnight cow jumping over the moon. Goodnight light and the red balloon. Goodnight bears. Goodnight chairs. Of course, by JoJo Eden Page. Goodnight kittens. Goodnight mittens. Goodnight clocks and goodnight socks. Goodnight little house and goodnight little mouse. It's still happening. Share the live so more people will come in here, because I feel like the live is dead. But anyways, goodnight comb and goodnight brush. Goodnight nobody. Goodnight mush. And goodnight to the quiet old lady who was whispering hush. Goodnight stars. Goodnight air. Goodnight noises. Everywhere. Anyways, that is the end of our last book. I appreciate everyone who came. Thank you guys for coming out. Of course, subscribe to my YouTube, The Trying Times. Follow me on Instagram. It's in my link tree. Go like my recent. I'm gonna post on Instagram tomorrow, so that's why you should follow me on Instagram. And of course, follow me on here. That'd be super sick. Thanks to Lay Dizzle right now for being a homie, donating a bunch. But you guys are super sick. Follow me on here. Follow me on Instagram.